What is up? This year, LA in a minute. Now I'm here at Numero Uno, which is, well, the #1 pizza spot in Los Angeles. It was the first and is the oldest pizza chain from LA, and also was the first to serve Chicago-style deep dish in Los Angeles. In fact, Numero Uno dominated the LA pizza market during the 80s, having almost 100 stores. Today, however, only 7 remain. So what happened to Numero Uno? Let's get into it. Ron Gelay was a transplant from Milwaukee, moved to Los Angeles in the 1970s, and longed for the deep dish pizza of his youth. The popular Chicago and Midwest style simply wasn't available in Los Angeles, so he worked on recipes in his kitchen, till one night he accidentally spilled an ingredient into the dough that would become the staple of his pizza and change his life and Los Angeles pizza forever. He perfected his recipe, quit his job in pharmaceuticals, and took out a $20,000 loan to open a location a block west of Cal State Northridge. He opened his first pizza parlor called Numero Uno, the #1 best pizza. Credited with having the first deep dish pizza in Los Angeles, business was brisk, especially with that sweet dough, and he soon had 3 locations, including one on La Cienega and one in Westwood. By 1981, Los Angeles Magazine was calling Numero Uno the best pizza in Los Angeles, and the LA Times readers agreed, as they had it atop their best pizza poll for 22 straight weeks. At that point, Numero Uno had serious momentum, nearly doubling growth every 2 years, and having 60 locations by 1986, when they grossed $25 million. They maintained their strong growth trajectory, taking over Los Angeles, at one point having more than 14% of sales of all pizza in LA. And they added to the menu with pasta, pizza, and sandwiches, but always maintaining their focus on the pizza, fiercely guarding their secret recipe for that addictive, sweet pizza dough. Numero Uno was the #1 pizza chain in Los Angeles in the late 1980s, at one location opening up 3 locations in a week, living up to their slogan, "One bite and we gotcha." A big fan was Joe Santos of Rockford Files fame, who headed up their next ad campaign, "You don't love it, you don't pay." But competition was coming up fast, first from delivery chains like Pizza Hut and Domino's, and soon from more specialized pizza parlors like CPK. It was at that point that Gelay and Numero Uno had their sights set on international expansion, eventually landing franchises in South Korea, Kuwait, and Hong Kong. But at that point, the business was treading water, overextended and losing money, and locations were starting to close under the newly restructured NU Pizza moniker. They continued to push forward, at one point buying Oregon's original Sandwich Express and Bakery, with the idea that 80% of sandwiches were bought at lunch and 80% of pizza was bought at night. Complementary businesses. But the thing is, the brand was caught in between, and at some locations with different names, it just didn't catch on. It was at that point that Numero Uno, or NU Pizza, started to diversify even further. They obtained franchise rights for the Red River Roadhouse Steakhouse concept on the West Coast, as well as even signing a preliminary agreement to develop Korean coffee houses in Southern California. But business continued to struggle and locations continued to close. There was simply too much competition, and furthermore, health food became more prominent amongst Americans, and their deep dish, cheesy, doughy pizza just wasn't as appealing. Even gimmicks didn't help, including these wooden nickels, and soon there were less than a dozen locations. Gelay eventually left the business, and he opened Itza Pizzeria with his son Joe in San Clemente. And though Numero Uno still exists today, there are only 7 locations left, each one independently owned and operated. So in the literal sense, Numero Uno means #1. And Numero Uno Pizzeria was #1. They were first in Los Angeles and still remain the oldest pizza chain from LA. They also were the first to bring Chicago-style deep dish to Los Angeles. So you know what? They still are Numero Uno. All right, LA, it's been a minute.